Hey everybody, welcome to Aniki, the podcast about anime with two brothers. I'm Ben.
And I'm Nocturne number 2 in E flat major, Op 9 number 2.
That's quite specific.
It's quite specific, isn't it? Oh, sorry. No, I'm a Kajinko based off of Nocturne number 2 in E flat major, Op 9 number 2.
Fair enough. And what does that sound like? Hum a few bars.
I don't remember, but it's one of Chopin's.
Fair enough. What have you been up to since last we spoke?
Dying in Elden Ring.
So have a lot of people.
Yep.
Explain to me the Elden Ring, because I didn't even know it was a game until people started posting their
You know
screen
Dark
grabs.
Souls? It's Dark Souls.
I got that impression. What makes it different than Dark Souls?
It's an open world rather than a dungeon crawler. But
Oh. Is that it?
well, instead of souls, you get runes, you see.
Ah. It's so much different.
They're very different. Now it's the same.
I get the impression that it has good writing, perhaps.
I mean,
I'm not paying too close of attention
kind
to
of.
it.
It's all right. The gameplay of any game, FromSoft game, is the fact that like the combat is super solid and hard, and I don't have time to get good at it because I'm an old man.
That's true. You can't get good at stuff when you're old.
Well, no, I just don't have the time to sink into it to do the thing.
Well, if the memes are anything to go off of, you could just be a magic caster and breeze through the game.
That's what. See, so I've restarted once already because I was like, I don't like this class. I want a class with range stuff. So I switched to the samurai class, and now I'm like, man, maybe I should just switch to the mage class. But then, like, I've sunk 7 hours into it, and like, I know you can like respec, but you have to like get to a certain part in the game before you can respec, and it's just like, again, FromSoft doesn't really do intuitive game design, so like,
Fair.
you can kind of get yourself in a trap, and then you're like, man, I don't really want to start over, but
All right.
I've painted zombie robots, or are they robot zombies? Zombie robots.
Do they dance and sing?
No, they don't do that.
Yeah. You could have better zombies then.
I suppose.
We should watch that at some point.
Oh yeah, there is a second season of that, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah. Have I done anything worthwhile besides getting sick over the weekend?
I watched Annie beat the new Zero Dawn. I guess it's the new Horizon game.
Oh yeah.
Zero Dawn game.
And is
But
it
yeah.
good?
Yeah, it's good.
That's nice. I played a lot of Genshin. Does that count?
No,
Why?
opposite of counting, in fact.
Bah. Bah.
Bye, you say.
My wife has gotten on a kick of sending me wholesome mangas that she finds on Facebook, of all places.
On Facebook.
Your guess is as good as mine. They end up on Facebook, and then they get sent to me. And they're wholesome.
Well, there you go.
Usually one-shots. I mean, they're all cute. None of them have really stood out where I can remember them yet.
That's fair.
I'm sure there will be a few, but have I watched anything good? No.
I'm trying to think if I've watched anything. Boop, 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 boop. Nope. Don't think so.
I did watch this weird show about music fighting hard suits or something. I don't know.
I watched that too. Say.
It was almost like a fever dream.
Was it the Takt Opt?
It was
The
Takt
opposite
Opt.
of Takt?
Takt Opt Destiny, in fact.
The tackest of opts.
Yes.
Hard suits. Where are you getting hard suits from?
I don't know. It was Magical Girls, the hard suit.
It had no hard suits, and really only one magical girl. The other were just girls who were magic, not magical girls. Look, it's different.
I don't think any
There's
of them were
difference
magic. I
between
think
the
they
two.
were all musical. They're ballerinas of death,
I mean,
really.
that's true.
It's like Swan Lake.
I don't think we met one of the Swan Lakes.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Would have been nice.
So we did watch Takt Opt Destiny. It was
We did.
a thing that we watched.
Yeah.
Is there a good way of describing it without going into Midori no Hibi territory of crazy story writing?
I would not put this on anywhere near the same like matrix as Midori no Hibi.
No?
But no.
It's
I mean, look, it's weird.
the concept is weird.
No, the concept is the concept is the exact same as freaking Fate Stay Night. It's just instead of historical figures, music.
Kind of.
I mean,
what was that weird? Rosaphon. You remember Rosaphon?
Oh yeah.
So maybe
really, no, it's just Macross. There's aliens who hate music, yak to culture, so we beat them with music. But instead of like beating them with music, we like beat them with music. It's a little different.
Well, some of them shoot them with music, I think. Hard to say.
Yeah.
So if you could elevator pitch the plot of Takt Destiny, how would you do that?
Aliens invade, they hate music. So we fight them with magical girls made of music.
We've also banned music. That's an important point.
No.
Sometimes.
Yeah, no, I guess it is. Yeah. It's an important part of the world. Yeah. It's like a silent place, but only for music.
I guess that's accurate.
What are the monsters called again? I don't remember.
They've got show?
Some dumb name.
D2s.
D2s, yeah, which stands for something, I'm sure. Yeah, so basically, if you walk without rhythm, you won't attract the D2s.
Yes, actually.
Yeah, man, that's basically how that works.
Actually, I wonder if D2 stands for something.
But don't play the song that has walk without rhythm.
Because will attract
that would attract them. The D2s.
That's very recursive.
Yeah.
Don't
watch out for that. I'm sure D2 stands for something that's not completely silly.
I'm going to look it up and see if there is. Okay. Do you want to know what it actually stands for?
Oh, why, yes, I do.
The Japanese is Zetsubo no Kimono, or Beasts of Despair.
Yeah, I was going to say.
However,
beasts.
the D2
so the D stands for despair?
Comes from Despair Dolls.
So why the 2, though?
Because there's 2 Ds in Despair Dolls. See?
Love it. That's very Japanese, and I'm for it. That's extraordinarily Japanese. So there's 2 Ds in Despair Doll, therefore D2. Mm-hmm. Yep, nope. That tracks as far as
I thought it was going to be a music reference, but okay.
No, I figured that would not be. This all does take place in America.
It does, which is interesting.
And I get the feeling that they think America is much smaller than it is. I did not take the time to calculate how long it took them to drive across country, but I don't think this adds up.
A while. I think we skipped a couple weeks between episodes. Or at least days. Many days between episodes. Days. But not quite enough. You can drive across the United States going full blast in like.
I mean,
2
I guess
weeks.
I went from Indiana to here in Seattle in 3 days. That being said,
that's pretty quick.
That was driving like 12 hours a day. And they are not driving 12 hours. I can tell you that right now.
Well, one of them is. Because that's her only job.
No. Because they've got to stop every once in a while to beat up something.
Yeah, so days. Many days. More than 3. More than 3 days were elapsed during this show. Anyway, how would you rate Takt Destiny overall in your estimation?
Well, I think that it is... I think it's pretty good. The plot's bad, but the world and characters are good.
I would say...
Villain notwithstanding. The villain's terrible.
Oh, my lord. But let's not talk about that yet. I would say that the plot is very 90s anime in that it's just kind of bonkers and let's just see what happens.
I don't think it's like that bonkers, right? They've got a world state that's a little silly.
Yeah.
And then you kind of live in that world state.
Yes.
And then the ending, because the villain sucks, they just kind of have to have a climax and it's not very good.
The animation and fights in this show are way better than they have any right to be.
Generally speaking, yes. There's a couple times that some of the animation was a little cringe, but for the most part, not too bad.
For the most part, I was very impressed. First couple episodes, at the very least, in the fights.
Yeah.
Plus, I love me a Kudere lead, and we got a Kudere.
Sure.
So
I am not familiar with this.
You don't know what a Kudere is?
No, I don't.
Oh my goodness. There's a whole wiki for dairy types, by the way. Here you go.
This is one of those deres, like a yandere.
Yeah. It's a Kudere.
Okay, I don't know what
a character who is calm, because it's Kuru, calm and collected on the outside and never panics. They show little emotion and in extreme cases are completely emotionless. but they're hiding their true feelings deep down.
So this gives me somebody from DuckTales as the person. But not to be confused with DuckTales. I believe this is another DuckTales, but maybe not. I don't know. I'm going to click this, and maybe it is actually from Disney's DuckTales, a woo woo. In which case, this would be a ooh woo goo. But
I do like the silent, overpowered characters. They're my favorites.
I mean, that's fair.
But I thought it was all right. If you're okay with the thing that's tied in with a video game, video game, I guess it's...
And that makes sense,
okay.
Because again, like, I think the world's good, and man, a lot of the character designs are really solid. Really like the character designs.
They were very unique. I enjoyed those.
I like how her little hair curls have little roses. Oh, it's good.
Which one? Destiny's?
The main girl. Yeah, Destiny's.
Yeah.
I like the way their eyes go. That's really cool.
I do like their
Big
eyes.
fan.
Very, very nice eyes. Good eyes. But yeah, it's fine. Just don't expect like a masterpiece. You'll forget it after you watch it, but it's fine.
More or less, yeah. I do kind of want to play the game. I mean, they've sold me on it. Because, like, I want, like, a triple star song. Be hot girl that shoots things. I mean, that's how these things work.
Okay, so now we're going to go into spoilers. Here's my theory.
Yeah.
On why the whole thing's based in America. It's a gacha game, right? And it's based on music. And they've got the anime that came out in Japan. Obviously, we're going to simulcast it and watch it. So I thought, my theory was that they are trying to sell the American audience into getting into this game instead of the way Nasu does it, which is just target America or Japan first and then America later.
I mean, I would allow for that. I mean, it gets me want to play the dumb gacha game.
However, I just tried to install it on my phone and I can't find it in the App Store.
Well, it might not be out yet. It got delayed. It was going to come out last year, but what with the happenings, it's gotten delayed till sometime this year. But I don't know if it's out yet or not.
It was delayed till 2022.
Yeah, but I don't know when in 2022.
Here's their main website. It's in Japanese. Would I like to go to the website with sound on or off?
That sounds like a Japanese website.
It's on. Very loud.
Yeah, they're still in pre-register land.
Oh.
So it is not quite.
The character designs are different in these promotional arts than they are in the show. May or may not be a good thing in your personal opinion, but here we are.
Yeah. There you go. There's Destiny. She's got her new form from the end of the show there in her chair. So we'll not worry about the end of the show. It was mixed bag. That's for sure.
Let's talk about the world, because there's only like 3 characters.
The world's ended.
Well,
it is post-apocalyptic.
Okay, so I was hoping.
Yeah.
Usually in anime they have silly premises like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. We can all buy in that, there's these D2 things and there's these music arts and all kinds of craziness. At some point, someone is going to try and make it make sense within the world. I don't feel like they ever tried doing that. And there's like, here it is. There you go. We're not going to explain any of this.
Yeah. No, that's true. Well, I mean, they kind of do, right? Like, they're magic rocks that fell from the sky.
Yes, the entire explanation took about 30 seconds.
They didn't do anything. But then, evil rocks fell from the sky. And they turned into horrible monsters. And they destroyed the world until people figured out that the first rocks, if you sang to them, turned into girls. It's more complicated than that, but that's the long and short of it.
Do they turn into girls, or do girls turn into them?
The rocks replace a girl,
which is problematic. Probably, maybe. We know that it happens in one instance. Does it happen in every instance?
It certainly seems to. They discussed that. So there you are.
If they did, I missed that, because I was hoping for some explanations on, is Destiny different in more ways than one? Is this just how the world works now, that we just sacrifice young girls to music?
Basically, but is
this all commentary on J-pop?
One or two, yeah, maybe. I don't know if they volunteer for this or if they use like criminals or something. I don't know. But either way, like the soul of the human being is replaced with the weird rock. So,
the Symphonia thing doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Which is fine. It's this overarching organization which is saving the world, but really it's evil, maybe.
Well, I mean, again, like the show has a problem with its overplot, right? Because it's bad, but it has some good ideas that it decides not to explore. Like the idea is this.
Yeah.
There's the big war with the D2s.
Uh-huh.
Humans / the Symphonica or whatever finally won with the help of what's the dumb name that they give all of the music kajinkas?
Musicarts.
Musicarts. Very, very simple. The musicarts, they beat them into hibernation.
Uh-huh.
So now, basically, they have solved the problem with the one caveat: no music, because that will wake them up. Mm-hmm. And that's the premise. So they've already won the war. So then, like, I was like, okay, so the plot of this is going to be like, I mean, there's the main plot of we need to get from point A to point B because my musicart's broken because she like digivolved weird. Sure. That's the real plot. But then like the overplot I thought was going to be like, okay, so what does like an industrial military complex do now that the war is over, and how does it like rectify that? And it kind of thinking about doing that for a hot minute, and it's just like, nah, we're not going to do that. And then we finally get to a little bit of backstory for the villain. I was like, oh, okay, so he has like gone so mad due to the horrors of war, right? So the horrors of war were really bad, and now he just wants silence. And the bad guy, the like D2s are gonna promise him a silent world, and they're like, no, not that either. He's just a bad guy. You're like, oh.
See, your problem here is you're sitting over here having good ideas.
Yeah, I know, right? And I was just like, oh, so that's where this is going. It's just like, no.
I like the silence angle. So that would have been good. This is
where it's going. And that's what I thought they were going to do, because he like touches the rock and then everything goes quiet and he's like, oh, finally. And you're like, so that's his motivation. This makes sense. And then it's like, no, his motivation is he's a bad guy and dumb. And you're like, oh, okay.
There you go.
All right, then. I guess.
Why not?
Why not, indeed? Again, it's complicated because, like, I like the characters. I like the character designs. I like the plot of them going from point A to point B, but it just lacks a villain, which is weird because, like, if you wanted to have a villain, you could have just had the war thing going on, right? Exactly. You didn't have to have, like, the weird slice of life stuff by just saying the war's already over.
Actually, they could have had the slice of life stuff and the war stuff all in one, really.
Other shows have done it.
Because they could have been like, well, there was a big war, and it's mostly solved, but now it's like random mop-up operations, but, post-apocalyptic. Right? What do we do?
But instead, they're like, let's have a villain. Like, that's not necessary. You don't need to have a villain. You could just have them fight monsters.
Here's the problem with the show. The problem is it ties into a video game. Now, it's not by itself because it ties into a video game that it's bad. It's bad because it rushed into the beginning of the video game. That's why it feels contrived there at the end. That's why the last two episodes don't make any sense.
But how, though? Like, where does the video game start?
It starts right after this.
Like in what way, though? Like, I mean, that's the question. Like, what sort of world state did it really, really have to have that we needed to deal with these villains?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, that's the big question.
But because it had to tie into the start of a video game instead of being like a side story in an overall plot game
But
world.
Again, you see my problem, right? Like, why isn't the video game... Wouldn't the video game be about the war? Why does it need to be... Why do we need... And again, it's not like the world state after this show is that much different from during the show.
Exactly.
One big dummy idiot decides to be a big dumb idiot, but then right after that, it's fine again. It's right back to the status quo we had at the beginning of the show. So why?
That's a good question. I don't know. And that's why I think it was a mistake to do it the way they did it. Because they had to force where they were into the start of that game.
I don't think that's the problem. So it's the same problem, not to go on a Star Wars tangent.
Here we go.
But it's the same sort of problem with like the new sequel trilogy. Yes, you've done all of this, but literally the world state at the end of episode 9 is the same world state that you have at the end of episode 6, only you've changed some names. the start of this show, the things are mostly asleep. The D2s are mostly asleep and in hibernation. And then there is this organization that is controlled over that is the conductors and the music arts. And, every once in a while they have to go fight those guys. And then by the end of the show, we have the D2s are mostly in hibernation. And we have this organization called the Symposium. It's the same. It's the same world state. Like, nothing changed. But that's what I mean.
Our heroes,
but it doesn't have...
One's dead, and the other one is in New York now.
Well, so but that doesn't...
different.
It's not, though. Not enough for a video game like we really had to get to here.
I don't...
Because there's no here that we need to get to.
I hear everything you're saying.
We're in the same place. We didn't have to get to anywhere. So I can't really blame it on it had to tie into a video game because, like, it doesn't have to. Everything's the same.
From what I have read, it's all based on Anna's character being a key player and a music art at the beginning of the game.
Okay, I mean, that's fine.
I get the feeling, like, because the game was delayed and they went ahead with the show, that halfway through the show, someone handed them the, okay, you got to get to this point by the end of this show script. And they're like, okay. And then they rushed it.
But I mean, again, though, that's okay. Like, what happens to the characters at the end of the show is like fine, even though it's like crummy that, like, the boy and the girl don't get together and that's what you want. But again, the villain problem. You could have just had the villain have a motivation.
Yes.
All the villains are extraordinarily one-dimensional, which is they're bad because they're bad.
Well, okay. So let's talk about some characters then. Let's start with Takt.
Yeah, I like Takt. Takt's cool.
He's okay. He's very mopey.
Kind of a one-note character. But,
He likes the piano.
He likes music a lot. He just wants to play music, but the world doesn't let him because, like, literally, the world doesn't let him.
It's against the rules.
Yeah.
Like Dirty Dancing.
It is like Dirty Dancing. This show's just Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Conducting.
It's like Dirty Dancing, but a silent place.
A quick tangent. What do conductors actually do? Aside from being batteries for the music arts? Because I can't figure that out.
But only him. Only he is a battery for music arts. Everybody else works different. What do they actually do is question marks. They're the character. They are the owner of the Kajinkas in the gacha game. You are a conductor because you are buying gacha tickets to collect all the songs.
That's fair. Okay,
that's why.
Actually,
but like that's fine.
I just realized something.
It's the same as they are. It's the same as the people in freaking Grail War thing.
Well, in Grail War, there's like
mana restoration. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, there's mana restoration. I mean, there is kind of a point to the master and servant paradigm. Here, it's less clear.
It's the same.
And the show actually, I think, unintentionally lampshades this because the first villain, the guy who just wants to kill Takt because he's Takt and who knows why. He's angry.
I don't know. And he hates music.
He hates
music,
but he's a conductor.
He's going to be a new ruler of the world or something. I don't know. It's bad. The motivations are bad.
He might as well have had a top hat and a big mustache twirl.
Oh, and like the first moment you meet him, you're like, oh, he's the bad guy. And it's like, oh, yep, he's a bad guy.
Okay, so this guy, turns out that his music art was never loyal to him, and he was never actually a conductor, and his little wand, his conducting wand.
A baton, please.
His wand.
Come on.
It's a magical girl
Your
show.
Father
it's a
is
wand.
a composer. Yeah, your father's a composer. It's a wand. Crying out loud.
Okay, so he's got this wand, and turns out it's just wood. And they snap it in half. Like,
I think they're all just wood, except Takt. But Takt is weird because he's weird.
I see. I don't know that. I don't know if his is weird.
No. Yeah, no, he's the weird one, right? Because he is half music arts. Well, he's an arm music arts.
Okay, his arm is a music arts, maybe.
He is one arm music arts.
So regardless, it turns out that he was never doing anything, which makes me ask, what are the other ones doing? Are they really all that different? Besides that one's comically evil.
What's his name? The other conductor that we meet and
Lenny?
are friends with. Yeah, Lenny. Because Lenny, his music art explains it, right? Lenny goes like, would you do? And then I'm like, kapow. And then that's how it works. And you're like, oh, all right. I mean, they lampshade it pretty hard in the second episode, but I mean, she does explain it.
So it's just point and click? Is that how this works? Kind of?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's just like a mental command of like, so you know how in an RTS, right, you have the above view?
Uh-huh.
I have to imagine that's kind of what it's like.
Okay, sure. Why not? Yeah, that's fine.
They're like the tactical operator, the tact op, if you will, of like the drone that is the music arts. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah,
yeah,
it tracks. Fine. Destiny. Really the only reason to watch the show.
I like Destiny. Destiny's good reason to watch the show. She's cute. She's adorable. She's got a really cool magical girl form. Just got a sad story.
Well, I don't know that she has a sad story. The body she's in has a sad story. She's just a rock, remember, or something.
She is a rock. She's a sentient rock. Really, this show is just Jim and the hologram. No, wrong one. This show is just Steven Universe.
Is it Steven Universe?
Tell me I'm wrong. They're magical rocks from space who have to beat other evil magical rocks from space.
Wait.
And they're singing. Mm-hmm.
The singing
Steven
part.
Universe. And the main character is half rock.
I was going to say he's like Hoseki no Kuni, but there's no singing in that one.
No. There's no singing in that one. But the main character is also half rock.
Okay. I'll give it to you.
Toe to tip, the Steven Universe.
Actually, you're right, because two of the rocks combine into another rock.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's just Steven Universe.
It is Steven Universe.
Just Steven Universe. Toe to tip.
We cracked it.
Cracked the code.
Well, if that's the case, who would Destiny be in Steven Universe?
Shut up, you.
Anyway, I like her because she's
a pink diamond.
No, I would say she's more lapis lazuli, but
that's fair. Well, except that again, parasitic with the person that she's a part of. Look, her relationship with Takt is weird because she is Takt's arm.
So it is Midori no Hibi. I circle back to where I was earlier.
This show is a lot of things.
It's an amalgamation of a lot of things. I don't think on purpose.
No, it has a lot of facets, one might say. I see, because they're rocks. It shows a bit of a gem.
So I've actually had Destiny as my iPhone background for months, even though I originally stopped watching after like episode 4 because life.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
But you got cool eyes.
The eyes are really cool. I wish they did more with the fact that when Takt is conducting
he gets
Destiny,
the weird eyes too?
He gets the weird eyes and he gets like part music arts powers. And they play with it a little bit and then he gets like strong and can be a bit of a punchy boy. But I wish they had played it up a bit more.
Yeah.
But can't have it all, I guess.
I would have liked to see... I was hoping that the show would lead into the fact that, hey, if you get the mobile game, you could get Destiny. You just got to pay a lot of money in your gotchas because she's like the super rare.
More or less.
And then they're like, actually, she's dead, so...
Sort of. Dead. Sort of not.
Sort
it's complicated. I'm not exactly sure what it is. She's like part of Anna now, or Anna can turn into her.
I don't know.
She's holding on to him. She is holding on to her until Takt wakes up from his I ate all of his life energy coma.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Question.
Did I mention the end of this is a bit of a mess?
Yeah, let's save the end for later. What about Anna? She's like the only other main character. I like
Anna. She's just done with them all. She's done with everybody. I like it.
I liked that, and they should have just kept that. And then at the very end, they decided, actually, she has never expressed any interest in Takt or being in the Symphonia or any of this business. She just wanted to go home. And now she's all of those things. She wants to be Takt's girlfriend. She wants to be a fighter.
Yeah. Well, I get the she wants to be a fighter now thing, right? Because again... what minimal character arc she has, like that's kind of the idea. Is
if they had hinted at it a little more than like two sentences in the last episode.
They should have done a little bit more for sure. But I mean, I get it. But yeah, it's mostly she also has feelings for Takt now. It's like, does she?
Does
Why?
she though?
Does she? Doesn't seem like she does, but I guess you're telling me that, so it must be true.
It's written right here.
It's written right there.
I I liked the fact that we just had this straight man character that the other two ridiculous things could to play off of all the time. And she was the voice of reason. We could have just left her like that. Because then, in the game, she could be like your guide character. Because you always got to have a guide character, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well. Here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Those are the evil people. I guess
there's the evil one who's evil, and then there's the evil one because he's evil, but he's the evil one that's in charge of things because he has a plan, and his plan is team up with the evil purple rock.
Yeah.
That's about all I got. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what his motivation was. I guess his plan was like to... So the D2s are waking up, right? They've been in hibernation for 4 years, and they're waking up. Why? Because the main evil guy, who's the head of the symposium or symphonica, whatever, has his music art can attract the D2s. So he does that.
Well, she's got a tuning fork
that attracts the D2s.
Yes.
Yep. So he uses it.
Ta-da.
Because
seems like an awfully weird power to have.
Ostensibly, his point is like, I will bring all of the D2s to North America from the entire world and then trap them here.
Sacrificing America to save the world.
I mean, if that's your plan, fine. But if it really is your plan, you could just tell everybody to leave. The D2s don't seem intelligent enough to be like, where'd all the people go? Maybe we should leave too.
Or here's an idea. What if?
But then he goes on a rant about how all life is suffering, so everybody here in America has to suffer to really live. And you're like, what?
See, most
all this after you get a backstory of him where he's really sad because in the war lots of people died and it was very sad, and he has PTSD and he just wants everything to be quiet. But that's not his motivation either. His motivation is, I can do this thing, so I'm going to do it.
You know what he could have done? We spent several episodes driving through the American West that have been, I mean, it's already pretty isolated now. Yeah. After an apocalyptic war with space rocks that hate music, there's even less people.
Hate it.
Why not?
Toe to tip.
Why not attract them out there?
I don't know, man.
This seems fine. Or Australia.
The villain's motivation
just take him to
very
Australia.
Terrible.
No one would care if Australia exploded.
Or middle of the ocean. I don't know. But I'm not exactly sure how he's going to like trap them. I guess it's implied that the big evil purple rock can hold them all in place.
Can it? Because it sprouted a bunch of them.
I don't know. I really, really don't. Like, the end's a mess because the villain's a mess.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Doesn't make any sense.
I was kind of hoping, against all odds, that Charlotte, Anna, and Destiny's sister would turn out to be evil or something. They kind of hinted at that possibility.
I'm glad they didn't. That would have been a little much. I guess if that was the plan, if that had been the plan from the beginning, but I think having her also be evil and just have everyone at the Symphonica be evil, except like the arts.
Okay, so before I knew for a fact that Sagan was just evil for the sake of being evil, I thought Charlotte was going to use Cosette, and Destiny, and Takt to try to figure out a way of beating the D2s forever, and but to do that, she'd have to sacrifice her family, and would that be, okay, or make them suffer or something? And then you'd have that weighing of humanity versus my close kin, which do I weigh in the balance of me as a scientist here? That would have been interesting.
I mean, that'd been interesting.
They threw that out too.
We don't really do interesting things in this show. I mean, other than interesting character designs. And again, like, I like the world state a lot. I think the world state's good.
You want to run through the music arcs real quick? There's only 5. There's only 5 of them.
We're not introduced to very many, but you see a whole lot in the final battle. And I'm like, I want to know them. I want to gotcha them.
Nope.
I went to gotchas.
So there's Titan. She's born from Symphony Number 1 by Mahler.
Oh, well, there you go.
I don't know who that is. I
don't know either. I should probably listen to that. I wondered what she was. She has
a shotgun.
She does have a shotgun. and cute hair. And her like final unlock form is pretty BA, not gonna lie. She has unlimited shotgun works.
I do like it when she went serious. That was
good. I liked it.
Good.
That
good
fight
turn.
was good. There's lots of good fights. Fights are fun.
There's Tengoku and Jigoku.
Heaven and Hell, let's fight.
The two evil ones.
Yep.
And
they turn into Orpheus.
They do.
Which I don't think is based off of a song, just the mythological.
It actually is.
Like a bard. Is it off a song? Oh,
it's based off of Jacques Offenbach's Orpheus in the Underworld.
Well,
a comic opera.
So both yes and no.
Yes.
I would not call them comic or an opera, because hell is just a masochist.
Sadist.
That one. Not Aqua.
And then Tengoku is there?
Yeah, she's there.
I thought she was going to do something. She has no
personality.
She has like one role dies. Where she shows up and tells the one guy, yeah, you were never a conductor. Okay, bye.
And then she dies, basically.
Well, she fuses into Orpheus, and then Orpheus dies inexplicably because Destiny convinced her to death?
No, I think it's just one of those things where she beat her up so much, and then her conductor got murderated. I don't know.
No.
Well, so she's got a cool character design. Orpheus does, because she's got like one of those purple rocks in her character design.
Mm-hmm.
So she is part D2 somehow or another, which is also interesting. That would have been nice to explore, but I guess not, because the way she dies is she's kind of calcifies like the D2s do. So that's cool, but that's a bunch of like implied stuff that you kind of have to either know prize or be like, maybe in the game something is explained. But yeah, because she had a purple rock in her, so she's kind of half D2. Or
okay,
whatever.
so the Grand Conductor dies after Orpheus because Destiny kills Orpheus first. Then she walks in there and gives Takt her sword so he can run the Grand Conductor through.
Yeah. Over her heart is one of those purple rock thingies.
Yeah. So the way Destiny kills Orpheus, even after being overpowered, is saying, oh, your whole shtick here is you want to save the world. But is that really who you want to save? Don't you want to save the man you love? And she cries a bit and then turns to salt.
Well, all during the fight, though. I think it's one of those things where she kills them to death. You know, kind of like in, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where Mustang kills her until she dies. I think it's kind of like that.
Okay. I mean, it's an amalgamation of so many other shows. I'll take that, too.
Yeah, see,
just smush them all together.
She just has to kill her until she dies, and then it works.
Now, there is one musicart that was woefully underutilized.
Oh, was it Valkyrie?
It was Valkyrie.
I liked Valkyrie.
She was introduced as this wild card who is masterless.
Tsundere.
She has no conductor at all. And she's a strong, independent woman that don't need no man.
You don't need no man.
But of course, Takt gets her heart all flutter. And we're told she has no conductor and she'd be more powerful with one. I don't know a better setup than that. It's obviously going to be, he's going to have more than one musicart, setting the game up for you can have more than one musicart.
Yep.
And instead, they're like, no, we'll just never use her again.
She never joins up. I like her little horsey ears.
Her horsey ears because of her weird hair?
She got she got little horse ears.
I don't know if you know this, but she was born from Die Valkyrie.
Either Das Valkyrie or Die Valkyrie.
Die Valkyrie, yes.
I have watched that opera. It's good.
Yes. Does she really embody the essence of that particular movement?
I mean, sure. Why not?
I mean, you know better than me because I haven't watched the whole thing yet.
Oh, goodness.
It was only, what?
Worth watch.
6 hours. Just that one.
It's not short.
Mm-hmm. Heaven and Hell are not actually based on anything, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, no, they just fight.
It could have been better.
What, the show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it fails to live up to its potential, but it's still like not like bad. But it definitely fails up to live to its potential.
Oh. You remind me. Okay,
it's magic.
It is magic. The ending. So Destiny eats all of Takt's life force.
Yep.
And then some bullshit happens. Now, throughout the show, though,
yeah,
we have been told that Destiny basically runs on sugar.
Also true.
Okay.
Sugar. Yeah, just like the bug from...
just like Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black.
That's the one.
What if...
Got it in one.
What if they had at least tried to force feed Takt a bunch of pancakes?
Say.
No one even thought, here, do some syrup shots. This might solve everything.
All the sugar. That's true. That's true.
You might get diabetes, but next you know, Wilford Brimley is a musicart.
Could be. Could be. I did like the whole scene where you know, Destiny awakens and just like eats his arm. Just omps it right off. That's cool.
Delicious.
Yeah. Delicious arms.
Do you think Cosette was still alive?
Do I think Cosette was still alive? Define alive.
Do you think that her soul or consciousness was still in there somewhere?
I think maybe partly.
Or do you think Destiny just completely overtook it and didn't mean to?
Well, I think overtook it's a strong term for what we know of how this works, but yeah, I'm not quite sure there's much of Cosette in there, if at all.
I kind of hope not, because then the very ending would be kind of a murder-suicide to save Takt.
Well, no, because she's still... Destiny's still kind of alive, because she's kind of been reduced to her pendant, and then Anna can kind of, like, use that pendant to turn into Destiny. Look, I don't know.
If we ignore the after credits, it kind of becomes a murder-suicide at the end.
That would be true.
So I would like to think that Cosette was dead the whole time.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Well, that's a fair thing to think of. So if you had to describe this show, how would you describe it? Like, where would you be? If you were to classify this show, what sort of class would you have it in? Like world class? Galaxy class?
Not galaxy class. Now, if you're looking for something that's galaxy class, may I recommend Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Season 2.
Oh, say, I might be in the market for something galaxy class.
Now, if you remember, Season 1 was world class. And for good reason.
I have heard rumors there is some galaxy class.
If you remember how Gurren Lagann works, is you go from small to big to the universe.
Yeah.
The same logic follows.
It just follows. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. We can make that happen.
We can watch that next. Just don't watch it if you don't like dragons.
Fan service?
Or fan service. Or shotas.
Yeah.
Or fan service.
Yeah, well, yeah, or fan service.
Look,
an odd
the
show.
mangaka knows what he likes.
Yeah, he does.
He knows what he's about.
Could I maybe guess the mangaka's favorite Pokemon?
Go for it.
Like, could it be Miltank, you think?
I'd be hard pressed to say no.
I would too.
I guess we'll find out next time. We'll have to think about that one.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you then.
Bye forever.